Hi, Pastor Joe again, here for another week with our Faith Builder study. This week we've got two questions to tackle, and they both seem small, but they're both very, very profound and important for us. The first is God great? The second is God good? So we'll take them kind of one at a time. Is God great? Yes, and His greatness cannot be measured. So God's greatness would be His perfections, His power, His intellect, His knowledge, His wisdom, His love, His glory, who He is, and what He does, and it cannot be measured. Like if you took every year, if you're like us, you probably, maybe even multiple times a year, you have like this one wall or this one door frame where you put your kids next to and you make a little mark on it and you kind of chart their growth, and the kids see and they're excited about how much they've grown from year to year, and they look to see, if you're measuring yourself, or if you've got multiple kids, they might be competing to see who grew the most, or when they get to teenagers, they start surpassing each other, and, depending on when they got their growth spurts, or oh man, sometime they're gonna surpass you. They might get taller than you, particularly if you're like me, you seem to be shrinking. And so we measure ourselves, we measure our skill, we measure in report cards, we measure our talent if we're playing in sports, trying to get better stats or greater achievements. You play video games, you unlock achievements and try to push yourself farther and farther and farther. God's greatness cannot be measured. God never grows in strength. God never grows in wisdom. God never grows in power because, He's infinite. He has no limits. If you started to try to measure God's greatness, there's not a ruler long enough. Remember, He has no beginning. He has no end. There's no possible way that you can measure this. Whatever is the greatest feat of strength or skill or knowledge or wisdom that you could possibly imagine, God is not just more than that, He's infinitely more than that. Your thinking is too small in this. So is God great? Yeah, He's great. You can never imagine anyone greater than God. Yes, and His greatness cannot be measured. But here's the thing. That's why the second question is also really important. Is God good? See, if God was great, infinitely, but not good, that'd be terrifying. He would be scarier than Thanos and Voldemort and a snake. I'm scared of snakes. All wrapped up together, right? He would be scarier than than the worst horror movie villain possible on a galactic scale. If God was great, but He wasn't good. So this is a really important question. Is God good? And the answer is yes. Yes, not only is He good, yes, no one is truly good except God. God is the standard of goodness. When we recognize that something is good or right, and we are correct in that, right? Sometimes we get things wrong. Sometimes we think something's good when it's really not. But whenever we recognize something as good and it is good, it's good because it reflects God's character in some way. God is the standard for goodness. Every thought He has is good. Every action He takes is good. Every plan He has is good. And good for you. Because remember, God is not just our almighty creator, He is our loving and almighty creator. So God's thoughts toward you, the parent, and your kids and your family in total are always coming from a place of love and coming from a place of goodness. God's character is impeccable. You can always trust Him. Your kids can always trust Him. Now, when we say no one is truly good except God, that doesn't mean that when you say, oh, I've got good kids, that you're like lying, right? We're not saying, no, your kids are awful, and you're an awful parent, and I'm an awful parent, and this whole world is awful all the time. No, not everything is as bad as it could be. But pure goodness, true goodness, the standard of goodness, that's God and God alone. And we need to recognize that. Because when we start dealing with sin, so sin is everything we think, say, and do that goes against God. Whereas God, everything he thinks, says, and does are all good. So whenever we start talking about sin, we need to understand that we're not comparing ourselves against our neighbors. We're not comparing ourselves against the other kids in the class. We're not comparing ourselves against our siblings. We're not comparing ourselves against the family down the street. When we think morally, are we actually truly good? We're comparing ourselves against God. And we come up far, far short. So it says in Romans, for all have fallen short of the glory of God. So again, we're laying that foundation here. We can trust God and we can trust his character, but at the same time, we're going to see that there's going to be a point where we can't trust ourselves, and we're going to need to be rescued from that. We're going to need to be saved from our own lack of goodness, from our own sin. And that's something that only Jesus can do. So, praying for you this week. As we answer these questions, is God great? Yeah, he's greater than we can imagine. And is God good? Yes, always. We can trust him. Praying for you, love you, and we'll get back with you real soon. Bye.